So what is post writing actually? Writing to me is simply thinking through my fingers. Okay. So you might be asking, what are posts again? So the posts are like the blog-like articles to post about recent activities, events, feeds. Okay. So that's what we've learned yesterday. So we organize them in categories, label them with tags. Post date sensitive, and it's displayed in date descending order. Okay. Why posts? Why not pages? Okay. Posts are timely and date sensitive, and they have dynamic sorting. Posts can be organized and sorted into categories and tags. Okay. Unlike pages, there's no sorting of pages. Okay. I think most of these things we've looked at yesterday. The main part of this post writing is basically talking about how we can actually group contents when we're dealing with menus. Okay. So for this part, I think we've done that yesterday. We've created new posts, new type, adding blog contents, creating the layouts. So we basically did that yesterday. We add some content to posts and we saw how posts work. And you might have noticed that posts and pages, the workspace are somewhat very similar. Okay, and we've mentioned that yesterday as well. So the main difference between post and page workspaces or the dashboard are the options for adding categories and tags. Okay. That's the main difference. So one of the things that we've found it a bit you'll sort of duplicate the effort of creating your pages would be to have categories, post, and then you have the same content on pages. Okay. So these options here on post makes it somewhat easy for you to just add a post, link it to a menu, then it becomes very easy for users to navigate around. Okay. So we came up with the idea of using that stick to the top of the blog. Okay. What does that mean? Okay. So basically when you create a post, it displays it according to the date it was published. Okay. So if you create a post now, it will be published as the top. Okay. It comes first. Okay. So stick to the top of the blog basically keeps the post there until such time that you uncheck this box and then it follows the other post and it goes down as time goes by. Okay. Stick to top meaning it stays on the top and it never goes down. Until you uncheck this box, then it goes down by time. Okay. So this is an example of stick to top. Okay, here. Instead of us creating a post, and then we decided to add that post onto a page, and that page is on our menu. So for instance, we create on the sidebar, we create pages for balance of payments, building price index, consumer price index, foreign trade. And at the same time, we create posts for each of these topics as well, or categories for each of these topics. Okay. And then we create posts that's inside the categories of that topics again. So it's sort of like you create one content multiple times. Okay. You create posts, and then if you want to display it, display it on a page, you create a page again and you put those posts on top of the page again. Okay. That's sort of, you are duplicating what you should have done only once. So these ones here, they're actually categories. Now you might be sort of having this sort of question that we mentioned something about having pages pages have static content that does not change. And here, now we are having categories as menus again here. Okay. Why do we need to do this? If you can remember, categories actually groups certain posts within that category. Okay. It makes sense if we talk about our situation here. If we go to building index price, we have all the posts that are related to building index price. Okay. And if we go to balance of payment, we should have all these payments, balance of payments posts in there. Okay. How did we make them become menus on the side? So yesterday we talked about menus as well. We had a look at how you could create your menus. You go into the dashboard, and if you go to appearance, under appearance you have menus here. Okay. So on your left side, under edit menus, there's main tabs up here, edit menus and menus locations. Under edit menus you have add menu items here. Okay. Yesterday we were adding just pages up here. So this is a page, this is a page, this is a page, this is a page. Okay. Apart from pages, you can also add posts as menus. Okay. You can also add custom links as menus and categories as menus. Okay. So when you create a page, it shows up on the page's add menu option. Okay. When you create post, it shows up here. Okay. The most recent, meaning that you just created recently. So if you want to see everything, you can view all and you see all the posts. Custom links are basically links to external links, like what you guys wanted, some of you wanted yesterday, about links to other departments or organizations that you want to have on the footer. This is one place that you could create it. Okay. You create custom links here, maybe say www.google, and then you add it to a footer menu or something. Okay. And then you have categories. Okay. So you might ask, why do we need to add categories as menus? Now, adding categories as menus avoid duplication of contents. Okay. So you create something once and you display it. Okay. There are some websites that you basically go inside and you do a lot of clicks to get to a content. You go in and you click a category, you go in and you click a subtopic on a page, so you start drilling in, and then, I don't know, it takes you some seconds to get in that content, maybe 10 to 15 seconds. Might not be a good experience for a user, okay? Especially when you put into context like the situation if you have a very bad internet connection, so you have to do a lot of clicks to get into a content. It's what we are trying to avoid as well. Okay. So you get to do less clicks, like navigation. You click on a category and it displays all the posts within that category. Okay. One being at the top because we checked it as a sticky post. Okay, so it stays at the top. Adding categories also helps users to easily find contents relating to that specific topic. Okay. So a user clicks on CPI, it finds all the articles about CPI. Okay. And then maybe at the bottom you get related content as well. Maybe user might be interested in balance of payment, for example. Okay. So if you decided to integrate everything all in once, you can do that as well. But it's good to keep it as separate topics. So you have CPI, just everything about CPI. Okay. So it lists previous posts about CPI that you've created already as well. So when you click on CPI category, we have a sticky post, and then the related contents. So we have the June quarter, the March quarter, yearly report for 2018, and the list goes on. So this actually helps users find content and shows related content as well. So it doesn't let the user goes out of the page again or the category again to look for the same content. Okay. Adding those categories as menus, okay. After creating a post and categories, navigate to the menu settings, which is what we just looked at. Okay. And then you select the menu structure, which is on this side. Now, bear in mind that you can have multiple menu structures, okay? Like this. So this is for census. I can create a new one and call it surveys. Okay. And then I put all the links to surveys. Okay. And then I can create a new one and say maybe new projects or something that's, coming up and I want a menu for it. Yeah. So a menu structure is more like a container. A menu item are the exact item on that menu structure. Okay. So we have different menu structures here. We have the main menu, which is this one here. Okay. And then we have census menu, which is on the secondary menu, which is here. Agriculture, labor force, and population and housing. Okay. Does it make some sense to have categories as menus rather than creating a page and trying to put all these different categories on a page? It can work. But that's not the approach that you would want to take because it requires a lot of effort to do this. Okay. So the most easiest option that you could take is just to create categories and use the same categories as menus again. So economy, this is the category here. Population here. And social, which is here. Under these main categories, you have subcategories under these pages, this main category again. Okay. So on my main menu, if I click on economy, it displays anything within the economy category. Whether it's CPI, whether it's balance of payments, everything that's relating to economy. If I click on population, it gives me this main category here with all the subcategories post inside this page here, or the main category here. Okay. So here you will find everything about just population. Okay. And the same with social. Okay. So let's take economy for example. So we have the first article as CPI June 2019. Okay. Now let's go into posts and let's create a new post. So we say CPI July. Say July 2019. And then we can add some content. I'll just grab this. And paste it here. Now with this post being created, I will add it to the economy category and put it with CPI. So remember, one post can go into multiple categories. For instance, it will go into economy, and under economy, you have CPI as the subcategory, it goes on it as well. Okay. You can add a feature image, write the excerpt, and then click publish. So if we go back to our statistics page, and now we have this one. So it's under CPI and economic category. So if we go to CPI, we can see that the post, this one still stays at the top. The one we just created, it's not at the top. Why do you think that is happening? The top is a sticky post. Okay. It stays there whether it's just been created or you created a long time ago and you set it as sticky post, it will stay there. Okay. Unless you uncheck this as sticky post. Consumer price index. Now where do you find that sticky post? So if you go to your posts, you can search by categories as well. Okay. So your post tells you which one a sticky post. I don't know why we have two. Oh, one is 5, one is 6. So let's make one sticky. Maybe let's do this one. This one's the latest, so I'm guessing it's there. So let's uncheck this. Does it have a feature image? Yeah, it does. Let's uncheck the stick to top of the blog option. Update it. And we want to make this new post here stick at the top, so that every time a user comes into the website, he or she sees a new post there. This changed in July. Okay, and let's just stick it to the top. Yeah. The previous one. Okay. So now if we go back to now we have a new post that sticks at the top. Okay. Do you all get the idea of sticky posts? So it's a good way to help your readers or tell them that this is the new post and it stays there for them to see. Then you scroll down, you have all the related posts down. Okay.
So you have a few questions about sticky posts and let's go back into this because what Billy has demonstrated is something a bit specific to the theme that we're using. So I just want to make clear about sticky posts. Sticky posts, basically they go on top of the list. That's the original behavior. So by default, just to make sure that we know which one we are talking about, I'm going to change the title. So this is a sticky post. If I'm on the home page, it's at the top. All right. if I go on a category page, so it's a CPI, right? Well, right now it's at the top, but actually if I change its date, let's pretend we have posted this in year 2017. If I go on a home page, it's still at the top, all right? If I go on the category page, well, it's not. Why WordPress decided to do that? I'm not really sure, but that's the way it works. So basically, when you have a list of all posts from all categories, it's still at the top, but when you go into the category, well, it goes back to it's sorted by date and not, it ignores the sticky post. Now what Billy has previously demonstrated is that idea we came up with, using sticky posts to introduce each category. Because if you have a page like this with just a list of posts, well, maybe it's not enough for us. So we've decided to use sticky posts differently. But it's an option. It's up to you. So if I go to DV here and NSO options, here you can see we have a few options there. One of them being, the first one being, use sticky posts for category description. So in this case, if I click on this, and if save changes, this time the sticky posts do not appear in the feed, so in the home page. So basically it's the other way around. We don't use sticky posts for this anymore, but we use them for description. Right? So I understand it can be very confusing because it's a completely different way of using sticky posts. So basically you choose whatever you want to do with sticky posts. But this can be quite interesting for simple sites. If you have lots of information and you want to keep if you have a lot of posts, maybe you want to go back to the default behavior. So it's up to you. You choose. We can. It's a case by, well, each case is different. So every time on your website, when we are going to work on your website individually, maybe we will decide what behavior you want to use. If you want to have a list of sticky posts you have, you can also click here, and you can see all the sticky posts. Actually, in my case, this one has no reason to be sticky. Because I've already defined one to describe the CPI category, and let's go back to it and see how it looks. This one, well, has a picture. It looks a bit better, and I've also created a new one for population, I think. Yep. Population, you can see if you use sticky posts to describe categories, you can do a lot more. Like in this post, I've also had a table and list of files. So in this case, it makes real sense to use sticky posts to describe a category. Right? Now this is one way, but we can go even further. We can create, if you're not happy with this layout, for instance, but this layout is basically a description of the category and then a list of posts. Maybe you want something even fancier than that, with columns and all that. If you have the time, and if you want to take the time to maintain it, sure we can do it. Then we will use pages probably, and create pages with Gutenberg or even Divi Builder. But I'm starting from simple website to more and more complex here. Basically simple, you will use sticky posts and just use categories. And the more complex would be to use pages. So you will have to create a page for each category again, and you will use Divi to make complex layouts. You have all the options available to you. Choose carefully, depending on how much time you have to spend on your website and how much data you want to disseminate as well.